Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters, business owners really take their results to the next level in regards to sharing their content and sharing their message. And in today's video, I want to talk to you a little bit about a completely different topic, which is that of actually writing a book. I know, a little bit different there. But essentially, over the last probably 18 months, I've been writing my book, as many of you know, and the book is titled Create Transformations, Advanced Workshop Facilitation Skills for the budding trainer or the trainer that's been in the industry for a little bit of time that wants to really get better and have a bigger impact on their marketplace, so to speak. And a lot of people say, wow, you've written a book, or wow, I'd love to be able to write a book myself. And a lot of times when I hear this, I really think that people overcomplicate the process quite a bit. Now, absolutely, you want to have a great team behind you and you want to have the whole launch side of things sorted. And, you want to know if it's hardcover, soft copy, and, you want to have the Amazon stuff sorted. But at the end of the day, the writing process is something that really people get stuck on because they try and make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be. And they try and lock themselves in a room and, they get writer's block and they get all of those kind of emotional blockages that get in their way. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about some simple things that you can think about if you are ever looking to write your own first book and you want to get some of your content out there to your marketplace, right? So here's some things. First of all, you want to think about what ultimately is the book trying to solve? What problem are you looking to solve? And I'm going to assume that you're writing a non-fiction book, right? So think about what is the problem out there in the world you are looking to solve and looking to position yourself as the expert in that field, right? So for me, it was all about, all right, what is the core problem? Well, the core problem is that a trainer cannot engage their audiences and get their content as memorable as possible, right? Now I started to think about, all right, what's that like going from position of being a beginner to being an advanced person, right? And I started to think about, okay, the book is solving that problem or giving someone the skills to be able to do that. Now, if you look into a bookstore, generally there's going to be a journey or some kind of transformation that any kind of book is looking to help the reader have, right? They're going from point A to point B. So the first thing you want to think about is if you're writing a book, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So number one, identify the problem. Number two is identify who are you speaking to that might actually have that problem, right? And when you get clear on those first two things, the process really opens up. Then what you want to do is grab some sticky notes, and you want to write on a sticky note, all right, cool. What are some of the core areas of interest or core things along the way that would help somebody achieve that goal of going from point A to point B, all right? And if you look at any books around leadership or sales or, launching a business or anything at all, like even spirituality, there is all this sense of, some kind of transformation or shift in the underlying tone of the book, right? So get some sticky notes and write on those sticky notes what are the core things that someone would need to know along that journey, right? So maybe one of the sticky notes is on having XYZ type conversation. Maybe a sticky note is on X topic, right? And what's fine is that you are just getting creative with all these ideas. And what you then do is look at those ideas, and what you find is some of those ideas will actually become your headings or your chapter titles or areas of, focus as the reader goes through your book, right? So what you can do is you can go, okay, heading or chapter title is X, all right? Another chapter is this, another chapter is that, and another chapter is that. And what you then do is you can actually sequence all of those areas of interest or potential chapter headings. And guess what? You now have a potential format or structure for your book. Then for those people out there that find momentum or motivation a little bit hard, well, pick the topic that is a little bit easier for you to write or you find more inclined to write about. So maybe you start writing chapter 3 first. Maybe you then write chapter 6 first, or then maybe you do chapter 8 next, right? So you can actually attack the easier chapters first, and then last of all, maybe you do the chapters that are a little bit technical or require a little bit more research. So then you find that the writing process isn't too hard because you just bite off the little bits that are a little bit more fun to talk about or that light you up the most. Then you may be wondering, all right, well, what's the structure of the chapter that you would actually write? How would you write the structure? And generally, what we find is that all great books out there follow some kind of structure in the sense that they are going to involve an episode, an unpacking of the episode, a little bit talking about the skills of the thing, and then a little bit of a future statement or an encouragement of the future for the reader. All right. Now, great books will probably entice the reader with a great little story, a little great episode for the chapter. Then it's a little bit of a sense of the skill and unpacking what that looks like, what that sounds like, what would that look like in the real world. And then last of all, good luck, have some fun, and keep reading on to the next chapter, right? So it's story, skill, future. Now, what you will also find though is that different books will maybe have a different order around that. Maybe there's a little bit talking about the skill or the thing or the concept, then the story, then the future, right? So generally, if you want to be unpacking each of your chapters or thinking about how you're going to attack the chapter, that structure of story, episode, the thing, and then the future is going to really set you up for success there. And generally, the more you can make your stories come alive or captivate your audience, so to speak, the more you're going to find that people are going to keep reading through your book, right? So here's a little bit of a tip, folks. If you can think about writing each chapter as a little bit of a writing a blog article, but not necessarily bloggy, like, here's the 6 tips to do X, Y, Z, but just think in your mind, all right, all I need to do is just write the next chapter. And then, a couple of days later, write the next chapter. A couple of days later, write the next chapter. And if you can follow that structure of, story, skill, future, then generally everything's going to flow quite nicely, right? And if you can find great episodes in the world that kind of illustrate the points that you're going to get across, that's going to make it even easier for you, right? So, last of all, you want to be thinking about how can you really promote your book and really get it out there to your marketplace? Who can you tell about the book? Also, who may really need the book but may not know about the book yet? And what potential also promotional partners can you use to really get your book out there? Who may have access to people that may be really craving a resource in that area? So, folks, purpose of this video is just to give you some tips and tricks on how you can get your content out of your mind onto paper in regards to some sticky notes that then give you some insight or motivation to then get each of the chapters written. And then you can decide, maybe you even want to change the order of the chapters as well, right? So maybe you want to go, all right, I'm going to talk about this topic actually before that one, and you can change the order of your topics, right? But the power of actually going, I'm not necessarily going to write chapter 1 first. I may write chapter 3 first, because that's a topic that's really easy to think about, really get on paper. You go after chapter 3. Then you go maybe chapter 7, maybe chapter 8, maybe chapter 9. And by the end of it, you have everything written there and good to go, right? So that's kind of how I approached writing my book. And I knew that some of the areas of my book were going to be easier to write than others because I've done the research. Other topics, I'm a little bit rusty on that one. I need to think about that topic a little bit more. But eventually, I got everything done because it was like, all right, I'm quite interested in that one. I'm going to go after that one. That one, all right. It's kind of like eating your meat and vegetables, right? You want to go after the stuff that you love to eat first of all, right? So on that note, folks, hope you got some value from the video. The book is going to be dropping very shortly. And absolutely, if you are watching this channel, you're going to find out about the release date probably more than sooner than everyone else, which is really exciting. And if you are someone that is a trainer that even wants to start writing their own book and get their content out there, definitely follow some of these tips. Definitely going to help you out there. On that note, folks, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.